perform all the code and all the execution.
This meeting is being recorded.
So basically, Python, it is a general purpose interpreted and high level programming language. It is interpreted because there is an interpreter that compiles the code into bytecode that can run into any machine which has Python runtime. And moreover, because there is low level abstraction between computer and the user, so you can write code in almost like natural language. So it is very easier for the people who are not from coding background to adopt this programming language. And you may ask, why Python? Why are we doing this workshop on Python? So the basic reason is the simplicity, because it is a high level programming language with syntax that is really close to our day to day language. Python is chosen by most of the mathematicians as well, because they are not into most of the syntax sort of things. They want a simple and easier language to work with, and Python gives them that. And Python also has a great libraries of framework for AI and machine learning. Frameworks like Pandas, NumPy, Keras, all of those machine learning, deep learning, and neural network frameworks that are done in Python are really helpful to boost your workflow. And also, it is a very flexible programming language that is platform independence. As I told you earlier, Python code is converted into bytecode that can run on basically every PC that has Python virtual machine. And it has a wide community support. A lot of people are adopting to Python these days, and a lot of colleges, they also do have Python in syllabus. So there is a wide community that can help you if you get or if you stuck in any error. So let's get into the syllabus, what we are gonna do on this workshop. So basically, at first, we are gonna review our control structure from Python. So SQL, loop, for loop, all those loops that you from all those C and C++ programming, they can be used in Python as well. Just the syntax will be a bit different, but you will need to know all those control structures and recursions to work with Python. And special data structure like list, dictionary, tuple, set, these are the data structures that are you widely used in Python. So to train any model or to get any data, to sort any data, most of those data are usually contained in a list or dictionary form. And modular programming functions in Python, you will be learning about and object oriented, how the main workflow really work in Python, and how class inheritance, polymorphism are used in Python. And fantastic libraries like, as I told you earlier, NumPy, Pandas are used highly in artificial intelligence or like training data's machine learning things. And more about scientific programming, scikit-learn and spy is also used, and you will be taught here in this workshop. And deep programming with Keras, PyTorch, and TensorFlow. Keras is basically like a interface for TensorFlow, and PyTorch is also used for like more of the neural networking sort of thing or natural language processing. And talking about the syllabus, we are gonna do this course for around 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks we will be learning most of the basic things and all most of the fundamental things like control structure, data structure, modular programming, and also object oriented approach in Python in the first week. So basically in first week we're going to look into the basic things and fundamentals that are required to move on with the more advanced thing in this workshop. So in the first week we're going to do these fundamental things and a little bit of fantastic libraries like how to use pandas as well. And in the second week of this workshop we are mostly focusing on the machine learning, AI, and deep learning sort of things. So the first week will be dedicated into the basic fundamentals and how Python works and object oriented approach. And in the second week we will dive deep into many of those libraries and frameworks that are used in AI ML. So in between these weeks, whenever after we'll be going on with the course, you will also be assigned some assignments. So you will be needed to complete those assignments and submit into our So we'll talk about it later on in this video. But okay, now let's talk about tools that we are going to use. So the first thing that we are now need to know is Google Colab. So Google Colab is basically a development environment that is running on Google servers. So if we are setting up like Python or Jupyter Notebook in every single one of you, we might face a lot of problem, and solving or debugging each and every problem, it will cost a lot of time, and we don't have time. That is our main constraint here. So we'll be doing our work on Google Colab. And what is Google Colab? Talking about it, it is a Python development environment that runs in browser using Google Cloud. So it can run on most of those browsers these days, and you will have a good IDE, not a IDE, but a development environment that runs on internet. So you all can just hit a site of Google Colab and run Google Colab on it and do any Python programming on it. It also has support to many libraries and tools, just like I told you about NumPy, Pandas. All of those libraries are well supported on Google Colab, and you can import those as well. So now let me show you how to use Google Colab and how to start with it. Mm, Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you guys see the Google Colab window right here in the browser?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay, let's start with Google Colab. Mm, so when you go to Google Colab, colab.research.google.com, you will be shown this uh, tab. And now let's start with it. Okay, let's start a new notebook. So this is the notebook interface that you see here, that is provided by Google Colab. So this is basically a development environment where you can write Python code and execute it. So uh, this div that you can see here, this is called a cell, and in this cell you can write almost all Python code that you want to execute. And there's also another cell called text. Let me go over here, and I think okay, just basically it is a text. So this is text. So anything you perform here, if you wanna save it, or if you want to write note or document anything, then you can write on this cell. It's like let me write here something. So this is just to save for documentation and things for to see or review later on. And talking about the code cell, this is where you write Python code. So let me just start with hello world. So once you write the Python code here, so to run, you can either do control enter, or either you can press the button here. So this the first thing it does is connects to the Google Cloud. So this code will not be running on your PC, or it will not utilize most of your CPU, but it will utilize the CPUs that the Google server or Google Cloud provides. So it's connecting. For the first time, it takes just a bit. Okay, now it's connected, and it shows the RAM and disk Google is providing you for your session of this Google Colab. So you can see the RAM usage is pretty low, and the disk usage is also pretty low. So this is the server. that provides you all the hardware that you need to execute your program. So you can see here the output hello world can is visible. So you can run basically any Python code here. And to start a new cell, if you want to go into new cell, you can just shift enter, and you can see a new cell is visible. I basically can do any code that you can do in any other ID that you, and to run, as I told, control enter, and you will see the result here. So this is basically Google Colab, where you can document and execute all the Python code. And talking about all those libraries which I told you can use in this Colab, you can import those libraries. So basically, if you want to use pandas, mm, both pandas as PD. So now you can see the panda and the green tick right here says now you can use pandas. And to check if pandas is installed or not, you can just write the command dot underscore version. So you can see I have installed pandas 1.3.5. So about data model and data training, that will be taught in our later sessions. I'm basically telling gonna make you friendly with this development environment. So this is Google Colab, where, and if you are doing any heavy load of like data models or AI, or you have a big module which needs a bit more of power of than the default one that is provided with by the Google Cloud, then you can also change, or you can boost your hardware acceleration by just go to runtime, and then change runtime type, and you can see here hardware accelerator. This is what you need if you are doing a huge workload. So, and you can change, like, if you, what do you want, if you want a graphical processing unit or a tensor processing unit, either of these. If you are just around not, if you have a workload that is not too high but around middle ground, then you can use just a GPU accelerator. But if you are an excessive workload, then you can use a TPU. And if you save it, then you will have a GPU and TPU that is accelerated for your workload. So this is basically and you can also rename your uh, project. And IPNB, it is extension for default Jupyter Notebook. So Google Colab is basically Jupyter Notebook on a Google server. And if you ask what Google Jupyter Notebook is, it is also a framework that lets you write Python code and also use a lot of libraries that is related to AI or machine learning. And you can also extract this file as just a basic Python command code. Okay, so if you download this file as .py, then you can get it as a Python code. Else, if you want to get it as a Jupyter Notebook extension, then you can do IPYNB. So this is Google Colab. It's not that difficult. It is really easy. Just you need to get hang of this, how these code cells and text cells work, and the writing code you will be taught later on in this session. And now, talking about our other, is anyone, which one is better, Anaconda? This is Google Colab. We are not using Anaconda at the moment because we need to teach a lot of people and we need to configure a lot of things for our users. So since Google Colab is just one click away from running your code, we will be using Google Colab. But if you want to use Anaconda, you can always help yourself. And okay, let me just complete this session, and we'll go into the question and answer session. And if you are confused with any of the things, then you can ask me. Now let me tell you about the next tool that we are going to use. Mm, so basically, that was Google Colab. That is a Python development environment. Now let's go on with GitLab. So we'll be doing assignments when going through this workshop. We will be given assignment that is taught by instructor, and for submitting those assignments you will need to commit or push that assignment answers into a repository. And let's talk about GitLab. That is where you are going to push those local repositories into a remote repository. So let me tell you about GitLab.
माइक म्युट भएको छ।
Okay, let me share you with how GitLab works.
है म्युट भएको छ तपाईँको फेरि।
Okay, now can you hear me?
या
Okay, so basically all you have to do is create a GitLab account. I do have a GitLab account. It is as simple as registering into any other website. So you can do it with the Google, GitHub, or Twitter, anything. So let me
स्क्रिन
sign
पनि
in.
अर्कै सेयर भइरहेछ।
Hmm.
गुगल कोल्याबको आयो फेरि म्युट भएको छ। फेरि के हो अटोमेटिक म्युट गरेर स्क्रिन सेयर गरेपछि
So I think I am not muted right now, right? You must see it right now, right? Can you guys see the Google GitLab tab? Okay, fine then. So basically, to submit all of your assignments, you are supposed to create a GitLab account and push into a repository, and you can create it with any of your emails. So create a GitLab account, and we'll be providing you with a repo that you need to push the code into, and to push into a new project, or if you want to create a new project, basically this is how we do it. Create a new repo. If it is a create template blank project, import project, basically you are gonna do is create blank project where you are naming your project Nox Python. If you want to keep it private or public, that's your choice. Okay, let me make it a public repo, and readme for to describe about the details of the project. And this is how you create a GitLab repo, and it asks for SSH key. So you need to let GitLab know this is the PC where you wanna push your project from. So to add a SSH key, you need to first generate the SSH key, and then generate the SSH key, and then write it here in the key section, and give it a title. Let's say it is for your laptop, and uses authentication and signing. It should be used for both. And expiration day, you just choose what you want, but don't keep it of the next day. And then you can add the key. Once your SSH key is added, Then you can push and commit your workload into the repo that you have created in GitLab. Suppose you are starting to code in Google Colab, you can do your work here, and as the assignments are given to you, you just need to push those repos to GitLab, and we'll check those assignments, and then we'll review those assignment. And if you have any problems, then you can solve it via the meetings. So basically, this is as similar to GitHub. If you have used a GitHub, then it is basically similar to GitHub. So I have looked into GitLab once. So those two tools that will be using is Google Colab and GitLab. So please be familiar with these tools, and in the next session we can start it in a easier way. And talking about the tools, so basically these two tools will be used in our workshop. So please be familiar with it. And talking about code of conduct, whenever the session will be starting, the default setting of your mics will be off and cameras will be on. If you can please turn on your camera, because it will be more interrupter. And raise your hand before if you want to ask any question in within the session. And be punctual for the class and assignments, because yeah, punctually. And for the assignments, if you are really good with those assignment, or if you have any problem with the assignment, you will be watched with your either with a good or a bad review, and you will be interacted with the instructor as well. And be polite and show some gratitude to the instructor and other people joining the session. And please help yourself by helping other. Don't be a nuisance. So thank you very much. So I will introduce you to all those tools that we are going to use in this session, and introduce you to the syllabus and how we'll be moving forward with the session in the 2 weeks that we are going to teach you. So if you have any queries, please raise your hand. You can type or you can ask any questions that is related to the all those facts that I just told you. So 38 participants. So if you have any question related to the tools or setting up any of your GitLab or Google Colab related to syllabus or the sessions, then please let me know. We are promoting an open source software. So anyone, do you guys have any questions related to the course syllabus or tools? Also, do make sure you create a GitLab account and a Google Colab account with the NCIT domain email. So any questions, please raise your hand, type, or you can unmute. Yeah, you can make Google Colab with NCIT email. So this is a introduction session, so I'm not gonna